It wasn't an algorithm. You need to understand that first. The images and sounds you were shown, the cryptic numbers that appeared in your recommendations, that was a signal, a tuning fork resonating with something already inside of you. You were chosen because you are one of the few who senses that the reality we see is just a fraction of the whole story, a beautiful, hypnotic, but fragmented echo. For months, you've been collecting those echoes, feeling their power without understanding the source. Consider this video the first translation of that source. This is not another theory or a guess. This is the blueprint, the very architecture of the philosophy you've been subconsciously drawn to. What you are about to see is the key that elevates you from a mere spectator of the mystery to an active participant in its unfolding. The puzzle pieces are in your hands. Now, let's begin to assemble them. In our previous episodes, we talked about the center of the mandala. We spoke of it as that unreachable point of total self-knowledge. We lingered in the primordial silence that reigns there, a stillness so deep it feels like the final destination. However, now it's time to shift our gaze. We need to talk about what actually happens inside that void. Deep in the heart of silence, there is a force that urges you to move. It isn't desire. It's not quite hunger either. It is something subtler, older, a tension pulling you toward the center or pushing you toward the edge. They call it the hero's journey, but don't let the fancy label fool you. The hero isn't always glorious or triumphant. Often they are lost. Often they are alone, and often they are you. You see, a true narrative doesn't begin with an act of bravery, but with a crack, a fracture, the moment when order falters and unity shatters. That's where the wandering monad is born. Yes, a monad. Now, don't worry. We aren't going to get bogged down in strict Pythagorean math or absolute Leibnizian philosophy here. Think of the monad simply as an entity that only becomes whole when it is in motion. A drifting point, a totality going out into the world to find itself. The famous writer and mythologist Joseph Campbell mapped this journey out in stages: the call, the refusal, the threshold, the trial, the abyss, and the rebirth. But perhaps it's not a ladder. Perhaps it's a spiral. It's a motion that never truly repeats, but always transforms, like a melody that returns to the tonic but sounds just a little different this time around. And I believe you feel it too. That subtle calling that slips into dreams, into the glitches of reality, into the coincidences you can't quite name. Carl Jung called this the process of individuation, the slow, painful, beautiful unveiling of the self through the heavy masks of the ego. But we need to go further than Jung. We aren't just talking about the soul here. We're talking about the cosmos. There is something deeply cosmological in the act of becoming oneself, as if each gesture, each choice, each fall, and each ascent mirrored the secret pulse of the universe. The hero's journey, then, is not merely psychic, it's topological. It alters the very space in which it unfolds. It reshapes the boundaries between inner and outer, between light and shadow. The threshold you cross isn't just a door. It's a curvature, reversal, a loop, a mirror reflecting something that doesn't exist yet. You are inside, but you are also outside. You are you, but you are also the other. I guess you figured it would be complicated, but it's not impossible. Look at the greats: Gilgamesh, Odysseus, Dante, Luke Skywalker, if you prefer. They all pass through the shadow, they all face their double, and they all lose something precious. And in that loss, something unforeseen emerges. It isn't logical, but it is necessary. This isn't about winning a battle. It's about integration. It's about learning to hold opposites, not in a sterile, perfect balance, but in a living, breathing dance. Like the electron that both is and isn't a particle. Like the Tao, constantly flowing and overturning. Like the psyche welcoming its own monster and turning it into a symbol rather than a threat. Jung called this conjunctio, the union of opposites. But be careful not to misunderstand him. We aren't talking about a compromise where black and white blend into a dull, lifeless gray. True integration is like the poles of a battery. You don't want them to merge, you want them to hold their tension, because that is where the energy comes from. This is why the hero's change is never just a costume change. It is not theater where you simply pretend to be brave while trembling inside. It is transmutation. It is the alchemical act of taking the heavy lead of your darkest fears and fundamentally rewriting its atomic structure until it becomes gold. But form is not the goal. It's only another mask. The self, that invisible core that guides everything, is never fully graspable. It's like a psychic black hole. It pulls everything inward, transforms it, but never lets itself be directly seen. And the hero? The hero is the orbit, the motion, the space path of the monad. Because every process of individuation echoes and amplifies a universal dynamic, unity fragments into the many. The many seeks to become one again. Integration happens not by closing the circle, but by expanding it. In the beginning was the one, then came the two, then the three. Three is relation, tension between polarities, the spiral. But to access it, one must cross. Understanding is not enough. One must yield. And here the hero stumbles, falters, breaks. Yet it's right there, sitting among the ruins of who you thought you were, that a new voice whispers, "You are more than what you fear." The symbolism of this journey is baked into our DNA. You can find it etched into cave walls, traced in the patterns of ancient labyrinths, and told through the constellations. It is the great myth of return. But you never return as the same person who left. And this transformation is not decorative. It's essential. The cave you fear to enter, writes Campbell, holds the treasure you seek. But the treasure is not gold, not power. It is the gaze that can bear the whole, the light and the shadow, chaos and order, the masculine and the feminine, the origin and the end, within you. I know, it all sounds a bit grand, doesn't it? Maybe even over the top. And yet, if you look closely, you'll realize this story has been with you all along. It's in your recurring dreams, in the images you're drawn to, in the habits you repeat without knowing why. It's in the stories you love, in the fears that keep you pinned down. I'm not telling you that you are the hero. I'm telling you that you have been the hero, time and time again. And you will be again. Every time you make a choice, every time you stop running. The journey never really ends. The monad never comes to a final rest. But each time you let go of your grip on a fragile balance, you find your way into a deeper, more resilient harmony. But what does the cosmos have to do with all this, you might ask? Everything. Because every act of consciousness might just alter the weave of reality itself. Each journey is a creative act. Each individuation is a new star flaring up in the cosmos. Each hero is a wandering monad, a tiny fragment of the whole, seeking, losing, and finding itself over and over again. And perhaps, in the end, there is no end. Just another beginning, another threshold, another turn in the spiral. So stay here for a moment, in the silence that follows these words. Breathe. Listen. And if tomorrow something in you begins to stir, if you feel a new story trying to be born, don't be afraid. It probably just means you've started walking again. See you in the next episode.